technology that you can use to get more visibility for your company and to get more leads for your company. This is me back in I'm thinking around 5960, in my father's drugstore in Chicago, which was kitty corner across the street from the elementary school that I attended. And what I loved about, let's see, what do I want to say? So I loved having that drugstore, because you can't really tell, but this is the beginning of a fountain that goes kind of all the way back there. That you could get French fries and chocolate malts and cheeseburgers, and it's wonderful. And this right here is a rack of comic books, and I could read any comic book that I wanted as long as I didn't bend the pages or tear them.
So you could put it back on the
saleable condition. We were good to go. And so I read Little Dot, Archie and Veronica.
What else could you ask for?
Yeah, really, life was good.
You got food, whatever you want.
Some candy?
And candy, Snickers, Mars.
I wish you had a lot of those nowadays.
Oh, yeah, they would have been worth, that little rack right there was probably worth a ton of money. Oh, well, opportunities passed. So I also want to say something a little bit about the bamboo things. I'm working on a project in a new book that's called Sleep, Leap, Reap, the bamboo approach to lush business growth. Because bamboo is, as you I'm sure know, is one of the fastest growing plants on the planet. And how it's able to do that is that it spends the first year or two of its life putting down a really solid foundation. So how that applies to businesses is that we need to build a really solid foundation so that we can grow exponentially too. And I've researched a lot about bamboo and all the ecological benefits. It's an incredible plant.
It's 3 times stronger than steel.
Yeah, and right. And the houses that you can build with the same square footage as a house, so 2,000 square feet of bamboo for a 2,000 square foot house, and it would be like 5 times as much wood if you were going to do it with wood. So it's amazing.
Did you ever see the Jackie Chan, movies? Like he's out like hanging on his building, and he's hanging on his bamboo. Like, I can't believe how much bend that it had, how flexible it is, And normally you would see something like that and it would just break, but he's over there hanging on
And it's a grass. After all that, it's a grass, and it's still that strong. So anyway, let's cruise on. So what is it about me? So one of the things that I didn't talk about is I'm a geek at heart. My mother always wanted me to go to college because even though she worked in my dad's businesses and he was able to provide for us pretty well, she always said, you're going to go to college, you're going to get a good education, you're going to get a job, you're going to have your own money, you're not going to be dependent on anybody for your livelihood. So I did that. So I went to Howard University, got a degree in psychology, went to University of Chicago, got an MBA in finance. I came out and worked with a lot of companies, and one of which was, where was I when I was a programmer? Sears. So one of my first jobs was a computer assembly language programmer, programming stuff. So I'm a geek at heart. I love technology, even through my corporate background, which was primarily in human resources. I was always like the spreadsheet person and using the computer, so I'm very much into technology. So, I talk to a lot of business owners. I'm a business coach and a marketing consultant. And, I hear that people are just not quite getting the return that they want from, the investments that they're making in marketing their business, that they're struggling really trying to attract the right prospects. They're able to get some prospects, but they're not really the perfect ones for them. They're not really making as much money as they want. And maybe they even feel a little uncomfortable reaching out to people. So those of you who are in sales professions maybe gravitated toward that because you've got skills and abilities in that way. But many people who do what they love, the sales thing is just really gross. So it's really kind of a struggle, and I understand that because I actually went through a lot of that on my own. So today's businesses are really struggling with having this huge problem because a lot of companies, the large companies, are able to spend tons of money getting visibility for their businesses, and you may not be quite sure how you're going to get that done. Or maybe you think that you can't really compete, with the big boys or the big girls on a really cost-effective basis. So, and traditional advertising methods, which I'll go through with you in a little bit, are just not working anymore. So that's what we're talking about today. Why those traditional methods aren't working, what the 5 mile means for you and your businesses, how your business can tap into some of the fastest growing kind of high-tech geeky things, and how you can attract more prospects with getting moving to your business. So what's happening with traditional stuff? So here's a list of things that you probably have done in the past that you've used. So maybe you've got an ad or at least a listing in the phone directory, you put ads in newspapers, Perhaps you've even ventured out and put an ad on television, or you've done some direct mail campaigns where you've mailed out things to people, or you do telemarketing, or maybe print ads, or you use word of mouth. So all of those worked really well for a while, and some of them continue to work if you do them quite well. But for the most part, they're all kind of losing their effectiveness. So what's happening? So with the phone directory, how many people actually look in the phone directory? Right, my husband does. He's actually one of those people, there are very few, no hands went up here, my husband's one of them. He will get on a phone directory and go through, I don't know why he loves it, but he does. Most people don't, most people use them to stack stuff on top, or they throw them away or recycle them. Newspapers, you know, they're really suffering. Their whole industry is changing, and they're moving to online format, and it's really expensive, and many of them have already consolidated, so the ads that you might have done there are just not getting the readership that they used to get. TV has been changed in terms of advertising because people can, you know, fast forward to the commercials. My husband, with his remote, he just changes the station. So we're usually watching 2, maybe 3 shows at one time. Except now, I don't know if you've noticed, they've actually synchronized the commercials.
Yes, they
So
have.
even when you switch,
The rats,
you know, there's a
yeah.
commercial someplace else. So this might not be as,
Yeah.
Those rat bastards.
So you gotta try surfing. You learn a lot of things
Especially
when
the
you
new.
watch 3 shows at once.
That makes sense if you were on the other side of that.
Right. So telemarketing, you know, the problem with that is that people are on do not call lists. You know, I'm on a do not call list. I'm not all that receptive when people call me, and I haven't asked them to give me a call. Direct mail can be really expensive, and it's got a really low return. Print ads are really expensive, and, you know, the whole print industry is kind of falling about, and newsletters, even though Al and other people love mine, the open rates are still pretty low. I looked at my statistics, so mine are actually like 10, 12, 13, 14%, which I was devastated at, because it takes me a while to actually get the newsletter put together, except that I heard that that's actually a really good open rate, so, you know, but it's only 12%. You think, people are, you know, you work, so I'll give you some other ideas of what to deal with that. So here's a bunch of statistics. So I know we've got a little time, so I'm going to go through these quickly. So there are tons, 1 trillion web pages online. I wish I had brought my glasses here. So 91% of people who use the search engine to find information. So people are online and they're searching. 82% of local searches result in somebody going and doing something in the real physical world. And 98% of households have 2 computers or more. How many of you have more than 2 computers in your home? I think we've got like 3 or 4. And there's 2 of us living here.
Yeah.
And 71% of Americans are online. So, one more statistic, a couple more. 50% of purchases are preceded, so people are using the internet to research before they decide what they're going to do. And yet, half of small businesses don't have a website. So I won't ask you, because I know many of you aren't really small businesses yourselves, but half of the small businesses don't even have one. So the good news is that Google can be your new best friend. And it's because they have actually created and are giving away pre-optimized, pre-indexed, pre-SEO. And what that means is they're out there and they're easy to find, for those of you who aren't a geek like me. And they're already getting lots and lots of traffic. So Google is your best friend, and I'll talk to you about why that is. So what that means to you is that if you're one of the 50% who doesn't have a website, it's okay. It helps if you have one, but you don't actually have one to get found online, which is where, given those statistics that we saw, people are actually going to find the information that they want. So having a website isn't quite enough, because, you know, if you've got a website but nobody's searching for you, that's not going to help. If you've got a website and people are searching for you and they can't find you, that's not going to help. If you don't have a strategy to get traffic to your website, not going to help very much there either. And if this is the one that I see a lot of my clients dealing with, is that they have a website, and so they're happy about that, but it's not capturing any of the visitors who are there.